Well, Charlie, welcome to McMullen Park. A pleasure to have you with us. First of all, I'd like to start with why now? Why Real Bedford? And talk a little bit about how this opportunity has come to be.
Yeah, it was just obviously a few conversations with Peter. He'd actually come and watched us at MK. Really liked the style of football we played, the professionalism that we tried to create, with a bit of limited resources there. So off the back of the first conversation, the second conversation, it was real excitement actually, because what I was really impressed with was how they supported both the female and the male game, how it was one club, how it was the community, and he wanted to drive it forward. It was a club who have just won the treble, so they were successful, and we wanted to go and do bigger and better things. And using my experience of the Tier 3 and the squad that we created at MK, it felt like a no-brainer. I've been at obviously MK 8 years, and I'm someone who wants to stick out a project. It's not a case of coming in here for 6, 9, 12 months and wanting to just win a league. It's about building everything on and off the pitch, and straight away the passion that Peter showed, and actually the commitment to us as staff and myself as coming in as manager. I didn't want to turn it down, and what an opportunity.
For those Pirate fans who may not be aware of your journey so far, talk to me how you've ended up at McMullen Park today.
Yeah, so I started working in what was the RTC back then. So that was the regional talent centres. I think Milton Keynes was, or MK Dons Women's was one of the only 32 around the country. Then I went into RTC centre manager, so a full-time role there. And I basically oversaw the whole youth pathway from 8 to 16s, and then I went to assist with the first team, and learned a lot in terms of the manager there. And then he moved on to the FA. So the club asked me to go and to take the reins. At the time, I didn't feel I was as experienced as I am now, so it was a bit of a surprise. But I knew if I didn't take the opportunity, I probably wouldn't even be sat here today. So took that and run with it for 6 years. Was first team manager. I've got a full-time role running the female football program at MK College, so that takes up a lot of my time, as well as obviously the role as first team manager. So yeah, part of it was to develop, grow. We developed a development squad, which then went under 23s, and it was just to get better and better. And we actually ended it up on the season high this year, the highest ever points tally we've had, against some full-time sides there, some sides who have got some real support. Portsmouth, Ipswich, who have got some successful men's side, who are competing with week in, week out. We had some real successful FA Cup runs against full-time sides. So yeah, a bit of a background. It's always been in the women's game. Have a real passion for developing players and wanting to get better, and ultimately striving for perfection. And that's what we want to create here this season as well.
Having been at MK Dons for a long stretch of your career now, what attracted you specifically to this project? You've already touched upon it a little bit already, but let us in a little bit on those conversations you potentially had with Peter McCormack and Jill Upton as well, heading into this campaign.
I think it was a real club that cared, a real community club. It's got the support and the resources, and it's got the project behind it. It's not, like I said, it's not just a 1 year journey. I feel here it's a 3, 4, 5 year journey where it's clearly set out about how they strive for improvement. And that's not just on the pitch, it's the facilities around it, it's what they're building. It's the communications going around off the pitch, the media. And I think players that are going to come in and see this will be really excited. I think at times it can get lost in the women's game, where often the female sides don't get the same exposure to the male sides, and that was what really excited me. But I think the trust that Peter showed in me as well, and obviously some conversation with Jill straight away, is that they knew my background, but they trusted me to come in straight away and have real autonomy on the pitch, to drive that forward. So yeah, that's what excited me. And it wasn't just one conversation; it was 2, 3, 4. It was setting out direction, clear plan for next year, and we've come to today and the announcement. And now I can't wait to get started on the off-field stuff. Pre-season is only 5, 6 weeks away, so it's starting bringing the staff in, the players, and hoping that we build an exciting football team and a brand for spectators of the community to come and watch us and want to support us week in, week out.
You must have been keeping a keen eye on Real Bedford throughout this campaign, as many have throughout the women's game. A team that have produced a historic treble. You must be blessed with the foundations that have been laid over the course of this season that you can potentially build on heading into Tier 4.
Yeah, massively, and part of it was actually coming down and having a watch, seeing it live in play, and that was really, really important for me. I didn't want to lose focus because obviously I still had my previous role, and no decision was made until that season finished. But like you said, it was really important for me to actually get a feel for the club. I know some of the players, I've coached some of the players previously, so tracking their journeys and seeing how they developed and see where they're at in their career. So like you said, there's been a lot of noise off the pitch, and rightly so, and an incredible season. It's not for me to just come in and change everything. There's still a lot of good going on here, and it's hopefully for me to continue that uphill projection of what's been put forward this season and help grow that further. And that's my one ambition and aim. I want people to be proud of the side that they come and watch, and that's the biggest thing that we tried to create in my previous role, and certainly I'm going to create here.
And what are those ambitions for the upcoming campaign? Because it is certainly no mean feat, Tier 4 women's football, and the ambition of the club as a whole clearly is to climb that football pyramid. But you set with an almighty task now of trying to achieve that on the pitch.
Yeah, and I think we have those ambitions though. We want to go, obviously we know the higher you go up in the women's game, only one go up. We see clubs dropping only points in 2 games last season in some of the leagues, and they still didn't manage to go up. So we know it's not an easy feat. We know in the league we're going in, there's going to be full-time managers that have been appointed at some of those clubs. So, but I feel with the right staff and players we're going to bring over, and some of the early conversations, I certainly think that is the ambition. I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't believe it, and I truly believe that is to push to the top, that is to push for promotion, and we really do want that. Of course, it's going to be new players coming in, new staff, so that does take a little bit of time. So you never know what that's going to present, but I know a lot of the players that we want to bring in, if we can manage to get them over, certainly there's no reason why we can't be ambitious, and that was what mine and Peter's conversation. We have that dream, we want that dream together, and we want to make sure that we aim for that promotion. We want to win the league, and as tough as that might sound, coming from Tier 5 straight into Tier 4, it's an ambitious club, and they've got everything off the pitch. So it's about then doing the right things on the pitch.
What staff are you bringing to McMullen Park? Who is making up your backroom staff?
Yeah, so a lot of will come over from MK because we built that. So my assistants, Mark and Laura. Laura played an unbelievable playing career, played at some real top clubs. She unfortunately did her ACL and then had to retire, so we brought her on a coaching staff, but a real link from players to staff last year. Mark's been a good friend of mine, works full-time in the men's game, real good analysis as well off the pitch. And then Beth and Alec, who are our medical team, who again, they don't always get the same praises of what we do here and on the pitch and the wins, but they built a real successful team off the pitch, and we didn't have many injuries across last season, so their rehab has been superb. So we felt actually we come out of the journey at MK together, and we wanted to come into this together. And again, Pete was really supportive. We met as a staff unit with him, and straight away, their first time meeting him, they were sold. They were sold of what the dream is here and what's being built here. So that sold me as well at the same time. So yeah, I just can't wait to get on the pitch for day one now.
You mentioned before your community and academy backgrounds. Bedford is graced with a great setup down at Allen Park, many of which have then gone on to sort of make first team and development reserve team appearances over the last few years. You must be excited to be able to spearhead what is a growing and blossoming development and age grade system within the Real Bedford ladies and girls system.
Yeah, and that's key. One of the big things I've always been massively behind. We were giving debuts to players at 16 years of age who would come through our system, and the same thing's here. If players are good enough, it doesn't matter what age they are, and that's what I've been a big believer of through my whole coaching career. So I want to make sure, that improves both our kind of reserves development setup. I want those kind of 14, 15, 16-year-olds to have that role model and ambition to be able to step into first team football. And even this season, you're playing top clubs, the likes of Norwich, QPR, Cambridge United, sustained kind of clubs in the Football League with the men, so that will bring a real attraction to those home games. And I want to make sure that that there is that pathway, and they will get opportunities, they will get them presented to them, and it's about them working hard to see that. So the players on the pitch have got to be real role models around the community, and we will be able to build that. Again, that takes time. That might take a longer process of 2-3 years, but we know if we get that right, hopefully we kind of have those talented youngsters coming through that pathway.
First things first, a relatively short off-season and an exciting pre-season ahead.
Yeah, and it's I know it's a quick turnaround, and obviously with the announcement, it is then kind of we have to put the groundwork in. We have to start that, and we have started it loosely. But now it's about making sure that we get the right pre-season schedule together, the right fixture list, the right recruitment, the areas we need to bring in. So it doesn't stop from the next 5 or 6 weeks. But I think pre-season can be the most exciting time of the year, because you start to mould what you want. You start to build that with not so much pressures of 3 points on the line. And then thick and fast, that first game of the season is always one to look out for when the fixtures get announced next month as well.
And a final word to fans who will be wanting to join you on what should hopefully be a very exciting journey here at Mullen Park.
Yeah, I think the one big thing is I want to bring them on that journey. I always had time to give back to the fans. I know the players that I've worked with previously and the staff, they will always give time to give back to those spectators and fans, and we want to make sure that ultimately we want them to come to a side that they want to watch. This year it's been, like I said, a treble winning side, and no doubt that brings spectators coming back. So we want to play the right brand of football for them to have exciting games, but also we want to make sure that they are part of the journey as well, because we want to travel home and away with us, making that noise and making sure that hopefully, being into Tier 4, we set record attendances here again, and making sure that we get a real good average attendance, and I believe that we can do that with the style of football and what we're trying to create here.